This is Soda, and my name is John. I'm one of the co-chairs for JemCon 2021. It's good to see some of you have been here since the early morning. So thank you so much for joining with us. I'm going to mute everyone because I hear a little bit. Hold on. Perfect. So I'll ask Sue and John Henry to unmute themselves, but we are here to witness our first of two JemCon debuts of the weekend. We have, if any of y'all came to the welcome last night, I got to lip sync some of what she had to say, but we have our voice of Stormer and Lin-Z Pierce and so much more that we're going to get into. Sue Blu is here. So everyone give Sue Blu a big round of applause.
Oh, thank you, everybody. It's good to be here.
So I don't really need to do much introducing because we have so much to get into with Sue. So I'm going to kick it back to your host of this panel, my husband, the other co-chair, John Henry.
All right.
Great. Thank you. Thanks again, Sue, for agreeing to join us here at JemCon. We had this kind of legend about you, that you were the ungettable get as the voice of Stormer, and a voice that so many of us associate with great things about our childhood. But it turns out you're not so ungettable.
No.
It was just it's very gettable. It's just
that's
a misperception.
That's how rumors spread. John, I'm thrilled to be here and very honored. That's awesome.
And you're on loan from us, from the Transformer community. They love you very much, and you were inducted into their Hall of Fame in 2017, I hear. And so I know that they love you, and now you have another group of people to give love to you. Before we get started, I want to show a clip. Sue has notionally approved the clip that we want to show, but it's just going to give you a flavor for Sue's place in the history of the voice directing and voice acting world, and we queued it up, and I think it's going to be an awesome kind of entry point to the conversation we're going to have with Sue today. So, John, if you'll play that first clip.
Huh, I can't hear it.
Sorry about that. We don't have audio there. I'm going to try it again with some audio. Share the sound.
I thought maybe it was something I did. Oh no.
Yeah.
Hold on one second. Apologies. Okay, and
thanks, Misty. This is it. We can hear it.
Come on, Puppy. This can't be so hard.
Hey, where's my ice cream? Heroes in a half shell.
Dessert? You must be mistaken. I didn't order.
Let's give Miss Susan Blu a nice round welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's good to be here. Well, it's great to have you here. I'm very excited. You are the master of the genre.
No, that's not true. I just love doing it. I mean, what better way than to wake up in the morning and go make funny voices, you know? As I had a learning disability, it was difficult for me to read. I'm dyslexic, and I said little wed wooston went to the little wed barn until I was about 16. So I'm a miracle, you know. I mean, I feel if I can make a living at this business, anybody can. So I remember the voice by just saying that key phrase.
Yabba dabba doo.
That's Fred Flintstone's.
Right.
Hey, wanna go on a picnic? Yogi Bear's key phrase. So every cartoon character that you create, make sure you have just one key phrase, and that'll kick you into remembering the voice. And one season I was doing probably over 20 animated characters in one season on different shows. I like to think of myself, and believe me, you know, I think probably all of us do as actors, but I like to think of myself as an organic actor. I don't believe that this is a technical business. There are a lot of people who can do voices. 10%, you know, that's, and the voice is really 10% of the cartoon character. And doesn't it make sense? Because here's 10% of us, really. We have like 9 other tenths of our body. And if we stop here, we're ignoring the heart and the soul and the personality of the character, the guts of that character. So in approaching an animated character, I will climb in physically, because animation is a real physical business. So if I'm doing, say, the voice of like a little guy. Now, right now I'm just doing his voice, but now I'm going to get into some physical things. Maybe out there, if you can give me an age of this little boy.
13.
7. 7. Okay, and then I'll do 13. Hi. Okay. I'm a 7-year-old. Okay. Hi. I'm a 13-year-old. And I mean, the whole body's a little different with a 13-year-old than, you know, maybe with a 7-year-old. There's a little bit more maybe shyness that I choose because I kind of grew up shy. Isn't it true that we come into the world without teeth and we leave the world without teeth? Think of a baby.
Now, think of an old person. Same sound, isn't it?
We do full circle as we go through the stages. I don't know how much time we have, but
about 30 seconds.
Good.
That's a baby sound. And I'm 3 years old, and I'm 6 years old, and I'm 10 years old. And I'm 13 years old, and I'm 17 years old, and I'm 25 years old, and I'm 40 years old. I'm 55 years old. I'm 75 years old. I'm 95 years old. Now I'm ancient.
Thank you, Susan.
Wow.
Wow, that was pretty amazing, right?
Wow, I haven't seen that in years.
Those shoulder pads.
Yeah, that dates me, doesn't it? And the Farrah Fawcett hair.
Yeah. So, yeah, tell us, so you obviously are very good at this job, and we remember this voice so well, but like, tell us what your goal was when you came to Hollywood and how you got into this. What was your first role as a voice actor?
Well, actually, I went to Stevens College in Columbia, Missouri. And we had some talent scouts from a company called Screen Gems. It was when Karen Valentine was doing The Flying Nun, and you know, Sally Fields was not yet doing Sybil and those phenomenal acting roles. No, Karen Valentine was doing Room 222, and Sally Fields was doing The Flying Nun. So after that, they brought me out to do a pilot called Gidget Grows Up. And that's what really got me to Los Angeles. And the pilot didn't sell, and here I am in LA. And so I was guesting on certain shows, doing a lot of on-camera commercials, and did like Simon and Simon, guested on Three's Company, you know, did stuff like that. And my agent called me and he said, how would you sound if you were the Pillsbury Doughgirl? And I went, why? What's that? And I'm on the phone with him and he said, well, it's a voiceover. They're looking for the Pillsbury Doughgirl. They've been looking for about 6 months. And of course, Pillsbury is in Minnesota, and they had auditioned people in Chicago, people in New York, people in Los Angeles. And I think what happened, John, is that I came in right at the right time. I think they were so tired of auditioning people, they could have cast this character, you know, 3 months prior to this. And so I did my audition on the phone for my agent. He submitted me and I had a casting call. And so I went in to, Leo Burnett was the advertiser. And so they had me do a few lines. Hi, I'm Poppy, the Pillsbury Doughgirl. I know a lot of people want to throw up right now, but anyway, I got this job in voiceovers and in being the Pillsbury Dough girl. And it was a whole new world to me. I went, wow, this is cool. And you know, other voiceover people have probably said this, they can go to work without makeup, which of course I don't have any on right now. They can go to work in jeans. They don't have to look that great. And it's true. It kind of opened up. I went, this voiceover stuff is cool. And you can make a pretty good living. And I still wanted to do on-camera work. And I did do still on-camera work until it came to one point in my life, which I can talk about. But that's basically how I got into voiceovers.
That's great. That's a great story. The things you saw in that video just now, you talking about it, does that all still ring true for you today? The way that you physicalize and the 10% head up, all that stuff is accurate, right?
Absolutely. I mean, you just can't do voices. You have to do people. I mean, you really have to be, I think, an actor where the voice is created out of the action. Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything I said.
That's good. That's good that you still do. Yeah. Did you do your Friday the 13th, your iconic role in Friday the 13th as Amanda Shepherd? We don't have a clip of that because for many reasons, it's daytime, you know, pre-prime time. But was that overlapping and that was happening while you were doing voiceover work as well? You were still doing the on-screen work and voiceover at that point?
I was, and I had just slowly started. I had begged, you know, I had worked with every dialogue director in town, Gordon Hunt, Wally Burr, all of them. And I call it stealing with love. I kind of stole a little bit of what I really liked about their directing, and then of course laced it with my own stuff. But I wanted to conduct, I wanted to direct, because we always do the voices first and then the animators animate to our voices. Sometimes it can be done the other way, but basically we do the dialogue tracks first. And I so wanted to get into that realm of it. And I begged every producer in town, and they said, Sue, you just stick with doing the voices and your acting career. And so during this time, I got the job in Friday the 13th, Part 7 as Amanda Shepherd, and went to Mobile, Alabama to do all the exteriors. We did the interiors in LA. And of course, Mobile, Alabama is the beginning. That's where the Mardi Gras.
I'm from there, actually, Sue. Actually, believe it or not, we didn't talk about this, but that's where I'm from. That's where in the world that I come from. So I know all about that. Mardi Gras did start in Mobile, not in New Orleans, but
exactly.
Yeah, so I know exactly where you're talking about.
Yeah, and so anyway, there's something that came across on my screen. Hang on a second. Thank you.
Just. Yeah. What are you seeing?
Remind me later. Are you there?
I'm here. Yeah, we're here.
Okay. Hang on. Sorry.
That's okay. Maybe you just okay. You're back.
Good. So anyway, I went to Mobile, did Amanda Shepherd, and then I came back, and the producer of a little tiny show called me and said, okay, everybody else has turned this down because it's only 5 episodes. It's really silly. And this is what I'm going to pay you. And do you want to do it? I said, yeah.
Direct it, meaning direct the show. Direct the
show.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was Townsend Coleman who played the Tick. It was Rob Paulson, who's done everything in town. It was Cam Clark. Just a wonderful cast of characters. James Avery, I can't believe I'm remembering all these names. Of course, who was in the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And I said, yeah, I'd love to. And of course, I had worked with all these people as an actor. So to kind of earn their trust, and it was a little tough, but they were great with me. It was just a fit made in heaven. And it was a little show called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which of
A
course,
little show, tiny little show. No,
Yeah.
nobody ever heard of it again.
yeah, every director hated me after that. Not really, but you know, it was just a phenomenal show. And at that exact same time, I got a call to do audition for a big on-camera pilot. It was the same day I was supposed to direct Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And I said, I can't do it. I can't do it. They called me again. They said, they really want you to read for this. Can you come in next week? And I said, I can't do it. I'm directing the show. So that was kind of my exit out of on camera into, I really had to make the
choice.
Commitment to the choice. And I did. And
it turned out well for you, I guess, right? That show was super successful. And it led to so many other things. You wrote this awesome book. I ordered it online today, actually, so I could read about it, that you wrote and co-wrote with someone about just the whole thing. Anything from that book that you want to share with folks today about the voice directing Bible, as they call it?
Well, you know, so much. If I wrote a book now, I think there's so much more I would add to this. You know, Molly Ann Mullen, she was a great co-author with me. And then my first wife, who is no longer with us, Cynthia Sanjay, I pulled her in on the last copy, the most recent copy of Word of Mouth. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of the three of us collaborating on this book. But, you know, Molly Ann Mullen was great because I'd say, here's what I want to say. And I'd write it down. She'd go, well, that's terrible grammar. Here's the way you ought to say it. You know, so it was a really good team effort. But everything in that book, you know, it's so funny because I did an audio version of the book.
Yeah.
And I used Bobby Block, AKA Samantha Paris. She came in and of course, so I kind of started her on her teaching career. She wanted to teach. And so she was kind of followed me. And of course, she's voice tracks West up in San Francisco, you know. So.
Yeah. Bobby Block. Put someone in the chat, please remind me which character on Gem she played. I know it's one of the main ones. She played Roxy.
Yeah.
And then Townsend Coleman was Riot on Gem, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So another fun overlap. So let's go back to the Gem time. So when you got that job and why you got that job and we'll show some clips in a minute, but you want to tell us just kind of how you found that role and if they chose you specifically for Stormer or if you went for that one specifically, how did that all work?
Well, when I went into audition for Wally Burr and Sunbow, Joe Bacall and the wonderful people at Sunbow, you know, I said, tell me about these characters. And so Stormer, even though she was a misfit and kind of in the bad group, you know, she was the sweetest of all of them, you know, sweeter than Roxy, sweeter than Jazz and Pizzazz. You know, Pizzazz was just kind of bad to her bone a little bit.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, that's why we identified. And it came on very early. It wasn't like she eventually got to the Heart of Gold part. She came in with a Heart of Gold, so that was embodied from the very beginning, right? Yeah.
So I loved this character, Stormer, because you know it was kind of the anima and the animas. There was so much good to her, and I was saying that to Wally Burr, and lo and behold, I got the part of Stormer.
That's amazing. We have some clips. You could, if you look around your screen, I don't know if you can see everyone like I can, but a lot of people are dressed up as Stormer on the screen with the blue hair.
I got to see it. And now, isn't it amazing, kids, that people walk around with blue hair now? I mean, blue hair is like in.
Yeah, the 80s dream was that everyone would have that hair. But if you I don't know if you could scroll through, see your gallery view of everyone, but everyone has their Stormers.
Oh, I love it.
With them, and everyone's very excited to see you and hear from you. John, let's cue up the first clip, and Sue, we'll talk to you on the other side of it.
Okay.
Yes, clip 2. It's not sharing. There we go.
Don't hurt me. I wouldn't hurt you, Ashley. I'm scared of Pizzazz and Roxy.
They'll be so mad. Yeah, they scare me too sometimes.
Thank you, John. So yeah, that was early on, right? But yeah, you what do you think about it?
There was such a vulnerability that Stormer had that I really, I don't know, there was a pathos and an emotion and a heart with her. I love her, and cut to a friend of mine named Richard Rosen. I've kind of lost contact with him, but he went to Sunbow and got a rough drawing, an original of Stormer, and I have it framed and hanging right on my wall.
Oh, that's amazing. That's great. You talked in your clip that we saw about you had a catchphrase to get into a character. Like, what was the catchphrase that helped you access that character? Do you remember what your catchphrase was to get into the Stormer mindset?
Yeah, it was really the holograms catchphrase, but it would get me into, just kind of truly outrageous. Truly outrageous. Come on, share your synergy with me. Little things like that would I can't believe I remember that.
That's amazing. I can't believe you remember it either. Everyone is freaking out on the screen and everyone's very excited.
It was 30 years ago, but truly outrageous. And of course, Lin-Z, she was in my lower kind of depth. Here we are.
We have another clip, John. If we could do clip 3 with the mystery lady. This is just you accessing another little part of your toolkit, I think. And everyone's going to want to see it, and they're already talking about it in the chat, so we might as well show it. Oops.
No, I heard them. I heard them say they were going to plant the money on Jim. Don't listen to her. She can't be more than 12. I'm 13. Besides, she lives with them. She'd say anything. Detective Ashley wouldn't make that up.
Doesn't matter what I think.
She wasn't alone. I also heard the men. But I must speak to you in private.
Ashley, the mystery lady, step in here. And you'd better not be wasting my time.
I can prove Jem is innocent.
First, I've got to know who you are.
I will show you.
So that's the clip. Sue, that's the mystery lady. That's the lower register, right?
Yeah, it's funny. I did this play in college called The House of Bernarda Alba. And there was a character, the old grandmother. She had, that kind of a sound. And I remember I thought, I'll use that for this mystery character.
That was great. It's great. And as far as the anatomy of the scene, you're hearing all the other voice actors kind of interplaying there. What any comments on that part of things? Just seeing all the other voice actors and how that scene was put together with the other people?
Yeah, they were so good. Sometimes a few of the actors had to come in and do pickups because they were doing other things. And all these actors were really, it was the creme de la creme of voice actors, Samantha Newark, Patricia, just all of them were just really, really wonderful. I remember, is it Kathleen Bloor?
Kathy Ann Bloor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They all were great. I haven't seen some of them in a long, long time, but
maybe an occasion to get back together, right?
Yes, I have some respect for them.
So we have a clip that has Lin-Z and Stormer in the same clip.
I can't wait to see this.
How did that work? You guys are collaborating around the table. Wally wanted you all to be together, and if possible, and do the whole scene together. So how would that work if you were in a scene with yourself, right? And you guys had to act as Lin-Z talking to Stormer. So how did that work on your end and in the room with everyone else?
Well, during the table read, I would just go back and forth. But when we actually recorded it, Wally said, I'll read the Lin-Z lines in the booth and you do the Stormer lines, and then I'll read the Stormer lines and you do the vice versa. So I could hear what Stormer was saying, and then then it would go back.
You kind of reset your mindset and get in that mode for that second voice. So John,
I think the thing that we have to remember is that all the characters we do have different rhythms. You know, you have a different rhythm than I have. And so Lin-Z and Stormer had to be in 2 different kind of rhythms, their speech patterns.
Yeah, definitely. So let's see the clip. Let's check it out and then talk about it on the other end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Kimber's lyrics are the greatest, and my music, nobody does it better. In fact, Lin-Z, we wrote several new songs for tonight's concert. This should be our best show ever. What kind of songs? Will you give our audience a hint? I've never done anything like them, Lin-Z. They're really meaningful and sensitive. I love them. Meaningful, sensitive. She wants sensitive. We'll give her sensitive. And my lyrics, well, Stormer's been helping me. They're really strong, hard, driving. I love them.
So this is what she's been doing.
All of you, be sure to come to the club tonight for our concert. Look at the makeup on Kimber. Ugh.
So that's the clip.
I love that.
Yeah, just again, another kind of wonderful Jem thing when they kind of have it. These people watching the TV and what's going on there with you and Kimber, and then you know, seeing what the Jem and the holograms are looking at the same interview on that end. But yeah, Lin-Z was always whistling, and she had a lot more spunk and like a different rhythm, like you say.
Yes. Yeah. It's so interesting because I was just sitting here thinking, you know, 1985, I think it was 1980s, around that time.
Yeah.
And man, you know, we were really talking about women and the strength behind what women could bring. I mean, that wasn't going on then. You know, I mean, now we have all these women's movements and things like that, but that was original. That was, a lot of people don't realize that. I mean, I know all of you do. But,
Of course. We're cool. The problem is outside of JemCon, right? It's everybody else.
yes.
Yeah, we had some on the first night of JemCon, we had people who were younger, ages 14 to 24, talking about Jem and, you know, discovering it nowadays, and they just think how modern and crazy it is that the women were so empowered, and the women just did what they wanted to do and didn't ask for male permission and didn't have to have male interjection in order to live their lives and run their businesses and all that. So we all love that part about Jem, definitely.
Of course, the major villain was the guy that wanted all the Jem.
Yeah, Eric, bad guy, Eric Raymond. Yeah,
it was terrible.
I appreciate you doing the research so you can get ready for all of us with our insane questions, which we're going to get to in a few minutes. I think we should do a couple more clips, John, just to show all this color in the performance you gave, Stormer. You could see her frustration, you could see her yearning, you could see her just the things that she was frustrated about. I think do clip 5, John, to start really quick. And then we'll go from there. I just want to get a couple more things, just to show off some of the work that we love you so much for.
Come on, Stormer, you really think this junk's a song? I've seen better notes on a tax form. Yeah, the music sounds like dinosaurs snoring. Yeah, come on, guys, at least try it once. I know it'll work. I hate this tune. And don't ask me what I think of you. Come on, it's good. You know Eric wants this album done by Friday. We gotta get serious. That sounds pretty good to me. Come on, please. Okay, Miss Fuss Budget, we'll give you serious. You don't care about anything I say. You wanted us to be serious. You've never cared. I hate you all.
So Sue, you go from pleading, she's begging these people to take her seriously, and then she ends with a I hate you all. So how did you access that? Yeah, how did you access those emotions in the studio with the other folks?
It was good. I mean, the writing was wonderful, and the animation, fabulous. I mean, it was animation, the voices, the action, it was also good. The singers, you know, I love that they open with a song. Singing was great. And I don't think there were too many shows at that time that had that. I think
there's almost no show like it ever, really, right?
No. They ought to bring it all back. Do they ever show them, the originals?
Yeah, they kind of, you know, they sell the properties every couple of years to some new place. So they'll be on YouTube, or they'll be on Netflix, or they'll be on Tubi, which is where they are right now. But they're always somewhere. And now we know, as fans, we know that we need to have our own DVD copies of them if we want to be able to access them whenever we want, you know?
Right.
So yeah, so that's kind of a thing that we have to do to keep up with it. But yeah, I was wondering, you know, we talk a lot this weekend about rebooting the show. We always talk at JemCon about how do we reboot the show? How do we get the show back? So if we were to get a reboot where they just pick up, you know, right where the last episode left off, and you know, and they just pick up the story from there, which is what a lot of people want, would you be willing to come back and play Stormer and Kimber for us? I'm sorry, Stormer and Lin-Z? Yeah.
Absolutely, I'd love it.
Okay, I think you're up for the task.
I'd love it.
Okay, great. You got to get that truly outrageous thing in.
Yeah, exactly.
John, I know you're moderating the chat, and before we go to that, I'm just going to list a couple of your credits a little bit, and then we'll do one more clip, and then we'll go to the chat and get some questions from the audience as well. So you played Nanny Smurf, you played Sphinx on Tiny Toon Adventures, you played Pillsbury Doughgirl, all obviously. You were in Knight Rider. Any other roles that you want me to make sure that people know that you were a part of? Anything that you want to? The role in Transformers, you're obviously a big fan. I mean, they're big fans of you in that community. But anything else you want to talk about that you did that wasn't Jem?
Oh gosh, I think you've kind of covered it. You know, I mean, if you were to name something new, I'd go, oh no, that's my favorite. Because every character I ever did, I'd go, oh no, that's my favorite. I think there was a little character that I did with Frank Welker on, was it Fluffy Dogs or one of those? See,
Princess, you were Princess Pawpaw.
I loved Princess Pawpaw. That's kind of my first, Princess Pawpaw, that was kind of my first run in a series over at Hanna-Barbera, one of them. And Nanny Smurf, of course. I love Nanny Smurf.
Why, you little whippersnapper.
That's great. That's great. So John, I'll let you pick another clip and then we'll go to the chat. And Liz is going to help us look through the chat and ask some questions as well. So John, if you want to pull up a clip, do you want to pick one or do you want me to pick one? Okay. He's going to pick it, so it's his choice. We'll see what's coming.
Vanilla cola, make it a double, and a hot fudge sundae, 3 scoops with a banana. Hey, let's hear it for the Limp Lizards! Oh, great. I wanted music! Put them back on, now! Stormer? Oh, wonderful. A lousy day is made lousier. Kimber, the kid hologram. Where's your big sister, creepo? She let you out after 4:30?
Well, I see we've got 2 celebrities visiting us tonight.
Go play in traffic.
They're members of 2 of the biggest bands in town. Let's give them a big hand. Yes, it's Kimber of the Holograms and Stormer of the Misfits. Let's hear it for them. Come on, maybe we can get them on stage. Let's hear it. Let's show them we love them.
I'd rather swallow tar than sing with you. I'd choke first. They really want us. I know, and I don't like it. This isn't gonna change anything, Misfit. I still don't like you. That goes triple for me.
They're all yours!
try to keep up with me. Slow ballad in G.
Oh, that was good.
That was a good clip. A lot of range there as well, right?
Yeah, that was such a good clip. That's right. That's when Stormer kind of left the Misfits, got fed up with them, and so then they bonded.
Yeah.
It's 30 years ago, so it's hard for me
Yeah,
to...
that's why we brought it up, so we could kind of show you, and you don't have to do all the homework. One of the questions in the chat around that is that they did reboot Jem in the comic book format recently, and they actually put Kimber and Stormer together in a relationship in that universe, in that version of it. So they had a relationship. So what do you think about that being kind of another alternate reality for Jem and for Stormer?
Did they have a close relationship? I mean, were they like lovers?
They were lovers. Yeah, they were lovers.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, that's cool. That's
Yeah,
from the
cool.
that's from the chat. What else do you see there, John?
It's interesting because I'm a dear friend of mine, her daughter, who's a very famous television actress, just announced that she's pansexual. So I've kind of been studying all the different, so that I can give I can keep respectful of all of these different degrees.
You have to stay up to speed on it too. It changes. It's that we're understanding our individuality more, I think, and it changes a lot. And I do that stuff for work, kind of keeping in charge of a track of diversity and inclusion things. And I learned a new term the other day, ace. I didn't know what ace meant, and it's short for asexual, and it's kind of like me saying I'm gay. Somebody who's asexual would say they're ace. It's kind of a short way to say that. So I'm always learning new terms like that as well. And I think the more that we understand that we have we're all kind of magical unicorns. We have our own individual expressions, and the people we love and the way that we love can be a whole variety of things, not just this kind of binary thing that people tell us are the two ways we can do it, right?
Yeah, it's great. It's great. I wish there had been more of that when I was growing up.
For us, for the fandom, I think there's a lot of queer influence, a lot of just queer in the way that, not even in the LGBT way, but also just people of intelligence, people of integrity are a minority in the world. People who care are sometimes a minority. So that kind of thing is what the JemCon community is all about, I think.
Yeah.
So John, I'm going to put myself on mute so you can ask some questions or call on the people in the audience, and Liz, feel free to do the same.
Yeah, absolutely. No, thank you. And just apologies if you hear a hungry cat in the background. It's because there's a hungry cat in the house. But we have a few people with raised hands. And Christian, I saw your hand raised first. So go ahead and unmute yourself and ask a question for our esteemed guest, Sue Blu.
Okay, Sue, in-universe question. Where do you see Stormers having ended up?
Can you repeat that?
All right, from an in-universe perspective, where do you think Stormer is now?
Oh, where do I think she is now? I think she probably has written all sorts of hits, phenomenal music. I think she's gotten behind the women's movement. I think she might have a baby, even whether she adopted or had a baby. I think she's incredibly visible in our world. Is that good?
Yeah, I'd probably hang around with RC and see all the other movers and shakers of that universe.
Yeah, I'm sure that Stormer is hanging around RC.
Awesome. Great question, Christian. Thank you.
Thank you, Kristen.
Probably still keeps in touch with the other Misfits.
Oh, good.
Probably. I'm assuming so.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much for that, Christian. We'll move on to our next hand raised, and I see Christine. Christine, our healthcare hero, can you please come off of mute and ask a question?
Hi, I was just gonna ask, thank you for joining us, Sue.
Thank you for having me.
what was your favorite storyline, be it Stormer or Lin-Z?
I think my favorite storyline was when Stormer separated from the Misfits and you know, kind of went out on her own and you know, it showed her individuality and that you don't have to be a bad person anymore. I think she got really tired of that. Did that kind of answer it? I loved all the storylines, you know. I loved when I was in most of them. I loved when Stormer was very present, and I loved when Lin-Z came in because she was a very cool chick.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Christine. And yes, Stormer is probably the best. I think a lot of people's favorite characters are Stormer for exactly what you just said. We have a bunch more questions, and the next person on my list is Tivia, who hosted the first JemCon that Jahandri and I went, where we met all those folks that we told you about in our pre-chat. So
yes.
Hi, Tivia.
Hi, Sue. First of all, I just want to say what an inspiration you are because I work in radio and have had a chance to do some voiceover. So I'd like to know how you tap into making distinct voices so different. We recognize certain things that we pick up on that are so you, and yet you're so different in every role. So how do you make those distinctions happen?
Wow. Well, first of all, I loved your voice. It's
Thank you.
Great voice. It's kind of like what I was talking about earlier about we don't have, as characters, we all have different rhythms as people. You know, I think Stormer kind of talks a little faster. You know, I mean, she's kind of into music and she talks and she's excitable. And Lin-Z is very laid back. She's a little slower. So their rhythm is different. Also, I think I had talked about key phrases that it'll get me into the rhythm of the character. You know, Nanny Smurf, why, you little whippersnapper. And it kicks me into the joy that Nanny Smurf has. Whereas the mystery woman has this kind of deliberate way of speaking. Where, another good character that I love, John, is Flim Flam from Scooby Doo. You know, Flim Flam's a name, I'm gonna change your luck. You know, but you see all the different rhythms that come with these characters, different heart and soul. Did I answer the question?
Remember Sabella from Scooby Doo Ghoul School?
Yes, Sabella, I love that. In fact, Russi Taylor, she's left this world and is in a better place now. And Pat Music were the people that I played. It was Sabella, it was, and the other two characters, I'm blanking on their names, but we were all little vampires and ghosts and stuff, right? But
I love the way, I loved how they designed your character. She got that dark hair and that little dress and that cute face.
Yeah, I loved her. God, I've forgotten all about her.
So I just want to remind everyone that we will be posting these and every session to YouTube. So I hope everyone's enjoying the masterclass in voice acting that we're all getting from Sue. I think hopefully you see everyone's reactions on the screen. Everyone's just amazed that you can so easily go in and out of every voice. But we have some more questions, and I have Steve next. Would you please unmute and ask your question?
Let me start my video as well. I'm sorry, for some reason the video's not working.
We can hear you loud and clear though.
Okay, can you still hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, there you are.
Thank you for coming on. I was thinking, for old time's sake, would you mind doing a dialogue like between Stormer, Lin-Z, and RC? I put in parentheses in the chat, kind of putting you on the spot. Or it could be Stormer and Flim Flam, or Stormer and any other character from another series.
You might need to give her a script for that, Steve. We might need to write up a little script, right?
Well, maybe, Lin-Z would probably say, it's really good to have you here with us, Stormer. I know, it's really good to be here. Who else is here? Well, we also have RC from the Transformers. Hi. Yes, I'm RC, and I'm also very glad to be here. And don't forget about me, Flim Flam. And you little whippersnapper, I'm here too. I don't know. Does that kind of do it?
More than did it,
Did
I think.
I
had to mute myself because I was snorting.
Make a total fool out of myself?
You exceeded expectations as usual.
Thank you so much for that special request, Steve. I think you just, if we could not be more delighted, we have just become a lot more delighted. So our next question, I just want to preface, last year we had a virtual JemCon last year, we did a virtual cosplay, and the next person created a new character and got second place and fan favorite. It was a love child between, Stormer? No, it was Craig Phillips, your brother, and Aja. So Jade, Jamaica, come off of mute and ask Sue Blu your question.
Hi, Sue. Huge fan. I'm going to try not to fan out too much. And
Hi, Jade.
Hi. So I would just like to ask, because I created this character that was Craig. It was Craig and Aja's child, but she grew up idolizing the Misfits, and she was just like in love with her Aunt Stormer. Right. So I would just love to hear a message from Aunt Stormer to her niece Jade, who is Misfits the Next Generation and trying to be a lead guitarist and a rock star herself. And I would just like to hear it in the voice and some encouragement.
Well, Jade, you've got to practice. You're very talented, Jade. I'm so proud of you. You've got to keep at it, and you're going to be somebody. You are somebody, Jade. You keep at it. You're great on the guitar. People are going to love you. I love you, Jade.
Jade's muted because as you can see, like most people, we're all hollering at how I hope you understand how special this is for everyone here. So just we have time still, but just thank you, Sue, for all of this already.
It's special to me. I'm humbled. I really am.
John Henry mentioned earlier in the conversation that we had on Thursday a Next Generation panel with some of our younger fans, and the next person who has their hand raised is one of them. Evelyn, come off of mute and ask your question.
Hi. So I am so blown away by that. That was crazy how you transition into so many different characters. So my question is, who or what inspired you to start voice acting? Was it a certain character from a show or a movie? How did you find out that you could do this voice act?
Yeah, that's a really, really good question. I had a learning disability as a kid. And back then, in the old days, they threw me into a class with exceptional, very special people. And we were all lumped into this class. And my two best friends was a boy that had the size of a little tiny head and another boy who had a huge head because he, anyway, very severely special. And they kind of threw me into this class, and the teacher called my parents after a while and said, you know, I think Susie's very smart, and I think something else is going on with her. So I got tested. My IQ, they found out, was very normal. And so I was thrown into speech therapy because I would say Little Wed Wooster went to the Little Wed Barn. I couldn't say my R's, right? And I stammered a little bit. and would bang my head on the screen door. I mean, yeah, I was a mess. But during recess in these classes, the normal, what they call the normal kids, would make fun of us. And I protected my friends at recess, and I would make them laugh by doing funny characters as a kid, you know? So that kind of followed me through my life. And then when I think I had said to John, my agent called and said, if you were the Pillsbury Dough Girl, how would you sound?
Hi, I'm Poppy, the Pillsbury Dough Girl.
And that's what got me into it.
That's so cool. Thank you so much for sharing. That was actually, my mom's a speech therapist, so that's really cool.
Very cool. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Evelyn, for that question. And I just want to say, I have two people listed for questions. I have Jacques and then I have Katie. So if anyone else wants to ask something, now is your time to make yourself known. We can go up until 5:15, but we do have a hard stop at 5:15 to get ready for our next session after this.
I'll try to make my questions short, my answers shorter, so we can get more people.
Listen,
Don't do
you
that.
heard it from Stormer herself. So we'll go to Jacques next.
Okay, hello, Sue. I would like to know, when you were in the studio with the director, do you have the possibility to discuss with him what he wants with your voice?
Well, that really happened in the audition, that we would come in and Sunbow and Hasbro would go, that's what I think Stormer should sound like. I like Sue Blu for this character. And then, of course, I would talk with Wally, the director, about the personality of the character and trying to get into the heart and soul of the character. But that would mainly, they would choose, you know, there'd be 50 auditions for Stormer or for the other characters, and they'd all collaborate and choose who they wanted.
Okay, it's more at the beginning.
At the very beginning.
Yes, okay, because you're during a recording session, maybe you say, should I do this or should I do that? Do you have some kind of discussion with the director?
Yeah, you know, as far as like Lin-Z, because that was a character that came in later that they assigned to me. And I said, I think she's got to be in a very kind of newswoman range, kind of in here. What do you think, Wally? And he'd go, yeah, I really like that. And of course, that's much different than Stormer.
Okay, thank you.
So the idea is really separating characters nicely, you know, so they don't sound the same. Thank you, Jacques.
I hope from this session, there's 71 people here besides yourself, or including you. I hope there are 70 people that are going to try voice acting after this. But we have, I have Katie up next. Katie, unmute yourself and ask a question.
Hi, so I am blown away to be even talking to you right now. Jem's been a part of my life all my life since I was 5.
So cool.
So later, after I had both my girls and they were little and they're watching Curious George and I see your name in the credits, I'm like, I know who that person is. And then they're watching Clifford. I'm like, oh, there she is again. So yeah. I got excited to see that how much like behind the scenes stuff you were still doing and being active in voiceover.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it broke open a whole door for me as far as Magic School Bus. I directed all those, and Curious George, Frank Welker.
I love Curious George.
Isn't that wonderful? Just
it's
so
not
cool.
Christmas until we watch A Very Monkey Christmas. It is so cute.
Yeah. So that was really fun. That was fun, kind of getting on the other side of what I call the other side of the glass.
Ah, well, it was wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, Katie, I love Katie. Katie, I love.
Stop! I cried every JemCon. Leave me alone.
Oh, if you're not going to cry now, please come to the Ari Gold tribute and the dance party afterwards. No tears.
Oh, that's twice now. Come on, man.
I have 3 more questions, and then we're gonna, I think, cut it off there. So I have Raven, Julia, and Davide. And then John Henry, I will ask you to close it out, but Raven first, please unmute and ask your question.
Hi, it is such a fantastic pleasure to meet you. Thank you so much for joining us today. I love it.
Thank you, Raven, right?
Yes.
Boy, great hair.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm right behind Katie on recognizing your name in the credits and just having that add more potency and substance to the experience of whatever it is. That is such a phenomenon when we get to meet people that are actually behind the scenes that way. Thank you so much for that. 2 quick questions. Number 1, you specify that you make it a point that all your characters sound different, but have you gone out and someone recognized you because of your voice and then had to turn around and see who they were hearing when they recognized your voice by what they heard? And the second question is, do you own a Stormer doll?
No, and I'd love a Stormer doll. That's one, yeah, I do not own a Stormer doll. And your first question, Raven, is I'll go to the market. One time I went to the supermarket and I was looking at prices and I went, oh my gosh. Literally, a woman turned around and said, do you do cartoon voices? And I went, well, yeah. She goes, I recognize it. Because, in the market, you go, look at this price. And they'd recognize, yeah. And thank you, because I wouldn't be here talking to you if it wasn't for people like you.
This is an incredible privilege. This is such a joy. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Raven, for that question. Next, we have Julia. Julia, can you please come off of mute? And what is your question for Sue Blu?
Oh my gosh, it's so good to meet you.
Hi, Julia.
Hi. How long have you been doing showbiz?
Oh gosh, you're putting me on the spot with that. I really did it I started making a living in it after college. So probably about 50 years I've been doing it, 40 years.
Cool.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Oh, thank you, Julia. And our final question comes from Davide. Davide, please unmute and ask Sue Blu your question.
Hi, Sue. Thanks for coming. It's great.
Thank you.
It's great to see you. It's a little bit of a technical question. You said before that sometimes you would normally record and then animators would go and animate on your voices, but sometimes it was the opposite, which is probably a little harder, as I know, because I do dubbing in Italy. So was it only about retakes that had to be done after the animation was ready and finalized, or there were some shows in which that was the way to go and you just had to record afterwards? So if you can explain a little bit of technical difference in the two things.
Sure. What usually happens is that we'll record a track, the animators will animate to it, and they may put in a little extra something. If say Stormer is falling off the back of a truck carrying equipment, and whoa, look out! But you see her going, we have to go in after that's all animated and fill those moments that aren't there, that the animators put in. The whoa, those kind of sounds. Occasionally, they may change in the lip flap isn't quite right because they've left out a vowel or they've left out a syllable. So we have to go in and redo those occasionally. But for the most part, most of the shows I did were always done first, and the animators would animate to us, and then we'd just go in later and pick up some of that stuff.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I bet you do a lot of work.
Well, not anymore since I moved to the States. I'm just some script translating for dubbing, but I don't voice act anymore. But that's fine.
Great dialect and a great voice.
Thanks.
Well, I will say Davide, a few years ago, did a JemCon exclusive premiere. He put together the art that was supposed to be Love's Not Easy, and Stormer was heavily featured. So Stormer's been a part of Davide's life for a little bit longer than just this conversation.
Love you.
So John Henry, would you like to close out our interview?
Yeah, I think, thank you so much, Sue. I'm glad you found our way to us. We're gonna have to show you with the Transformers Con family now. So you're part of this family, obviously. The way you handled us today and the way everything you brought to the conversation has been so special, and it's just been a joy to get to know you through the course of this. And I admit being starstruck myself, just talking to you and getting a little overwhelmed with emotion because it's such an important part of my life personally, and I'm just a privilege to get to be the one to lead you through this and lean on my husband to kind of help me out to do that. So totally appreciate all that.
And a great leader you were. You
thank
made me feel totally comfortable, and I felt very warm in your hands.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad. That's the goal always at JemCon, and just generally with my interactions with people anyway. But and the other thing is that you probably shouldn't have said anything about not having a Stormer doll, because you're going to get a lot of Stormer dolls for a lot of people now. Unfortunately, we'll try to consolidate and just get one shipment to you, so we can manage that. Okay.
Great.
Yeah, but yeah, you're part of the family now. The timing wasn't right before, but it's right now. It happened. So now things happen the way they do for a reason. So we all know that. And so we would love to have you back anytime you want to come back, and we want to keep in touch with you because you're part of our JemCon family. So thank you so much.
And I'm so glad I'm part of the family. It means the world to me.
That's great. And just by way of closing, John, I don't know if you want to talk about what's coming up next, or should I?
No, absolutely. So at 5:30 Eastern Standard Time, which is in about 22 minutes, we have Rachel Prince, who many of you may recognize as the original Gem Girl. She'll be showing and telling a little bit of the process of her experience making dolls and bringing some customization to life. And then after that, we have our cosplay contest. And remember that you all have an opportunity to vote for your fan favorite. There's a Stormer in there, hint. So that's 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Sue Blu is endorsing it. So there should be 70 votes for Stormer or anybody else. There's amazing entries.
Whoever you want.
Vote how you want, people. Sue Blu, you heard it here first.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you, Sue. Thank you so much. Feel free to come off mute and say goodbye to Sue, everyone.
Thank you, Sue. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sue. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Sue. Very much.
Thank you.
That's amazing.
Have a great rest of the
Thank
day.
you.
Yes.